Hard as you can.
You want to throw the ball?
Hard as you can. I don't care. What about it? Let's throw it again. Where you at?
Teofimo, I didn't even know. I was like unaware of like how smart Teofimo really was, like to devise a perfect game plan. You feel what I'm saying? Like it was just, it really was flawless the way he did it. Who else? There's so many guys. There's so many fighters out there.
So who's the best pound for pound? Who you got?
Terrence Crawford.
Terrence Crawford, best pound for pound.
Terrence Crawford is definitely.
What sets him apart, man?
What sets him apart is his consistency. Two, he's a very, very raw fighter. He doesn't really need much. Like, he's one of those fighters that, you know, can build a house out of clay type person where it doesn't, he don't really need much. He gonna go in with the tools that he has, and he's just a special person. Like, in general, he's just a special fighter. So
it's kind of like when the special athlete and the boxing skills are like at their peak together.
For sure. And the only
and he
thing,
can take a punch.
Yeah, for sure. And the only thing about Terrence Crawford, is that I feel like personally he takes too many punches, but I could see the reason why he takes punches.
Yeah,
it's because he's not afraid to move forward, and he's not afraid to take chances. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like for instance, like a Earl Spence or something like that. Like, even though Earl Spence takes a lot of punches, right?
Yeah.
People would never say that about Earl Spence just because of the style in which he fights. But Terrence Crawford has a style that's very, very adaptable. The inside, the outside, he could fight you in close, he could step back, he can counter you, he could do a little bit of everything. When Earl Spence he's a little bit more than one-dimensional, but at the same time, his style and what he has really made a name for himself off of, that style is kind of like, oh, you're expected to take punches.
Yeah.
But if you're a Terrence Crawford, then it's like, okay, nah, you just get hit too much. Like, if you fighting like that, you just get hit way too much for that. You know what I mean? Which I don't think is fair. Like, everybody judges boxing off of a bias. Everybody judges everything off of a bias, but everybody, you know, has that kind of like, oh, well, if you're this kind of fighter, then you need to be doing this. If you're this kind of fighter, you need to be fighting this person. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot to
Quickly, touch on the Lopez-Lomachenko fight, man.
Man.
Touch on that. I know that from hanging out with you, I know you're a big Lomachenko fan, supporter. To just touch on it real quickly.
I'm telling you, that was like, put it like this, man. It's like when you break up with your girl and you like, yo, I love this and I never love a hoe again. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, I'm never gonna love a boxer again.
Oh, it broke your heart?
Bro, broke my heart, bro. I was over with. Like, literally the whole next day, I was like in the bed in a robe. Like, I was hurt, boy.
Yeah.
Because I felt like there was so many layers to what he had, and he had so much going on. I'm like, yo, who is gonna
beat him?
Yeah, like when you start to do something, he gonna have 3 things to answer you with.
Lot of experience, lot of box, but also a lot of miles, man. It goes to show you that you know, at some point, you know, Father Time can catch back up with you, and everybody's not Floyd Mayweather at the end of the day.
Dude, and that was just so sad to me. I think what it is I think he bit off a little bit more than he could chew, and then he could chew in the fact that, like, bro, he started off at 126 and he was already in his 30s. You feel what I'm saying? So like late 20s, early 30s, and you got to think, bro, like, that's not. You starting off at 126 and then you fighting Teofimo Lopez at 135.
Who probably walks around at like 150.
I get it. You ambitious.
Yeah.
But come on, G. Like, and I feel like, and I'm not making no excuse for him because I 110,000% thought he was going to beat Teofimo.
Yeah.
But it was because of my ignorance. You feel what I'm saying? It was like that blind.
You didn't know. And you surprised me that night. I was watching the fight with you, and like we was like, damn, Teofimo hopped out to a damn near 6-0 lead.
You feel me?
In the fight. You know what I mean? Some people could call it that way. So
yeah. And so that was one of the things where I would never sleep on no fighter outside of, because the only reason I felt like Lomo was just gonna beat him is because I hadn't really seen enough of Teofimo like that.
Yeah.
And so my ignorance was just like, yo, like, oh, he's a power puncher, he's a come forward fighter, you know, he could box some. But it was like, no, this dude can box. Like,
he could box.
He's like that.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And I felt like that was just that. that upset and heartbreak was my fault because I set myself up for that. You
Yeah,
feel what I'm saying?
you know, reality. What is Thanos? He has a quote that reality is often sometimes disappointing, and that was one that
Dude, what?
that was.
Disappointed, bro. I was so sad. I set myself up for that. I could have swore she wasn't cheating, and she was.
She was cheating. So look, forget the other fighters, right? We're gonna go back to you, right? Because I'm here. I want to just really introduce you to the people and to the people that follow me and whatnot. So Levante Early, six KOs. Your last fight was what day was that? Like 3 weeks ago.
What was it? September? I don't even remember, man.
You win by knockout.
I be forgetting. I forget that right after it happened. And we celebrate. It be over with. I'm on to
you
the
win
next
by
fight.
knockout in the first round. Very impressive. I was ringside for the fight. You and we're gonna put the clip up for the people that can see, so they can see. Win by knockout. How did you go about setting up that left hand that you ultimately landed in the first round?
For sure. You know what? And I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but every time I talk about it, people just be like, "Yeah, yeah, you knocked him out." Like,
You knocked him out.
But yeah, that was one of the things where, so I started off in the fight and I realized that he wanted to just kind of feel me out in the first round. He didn't really want to engage that much. And from watching film on him and from watching the fights he's won before, where he's knocked people out before, it was one of those things where he feel you out in the first round. The second round, he gonna be a little bit more active, score some, but still probably lose a round. And in the third round, he gonna come out blazing. Right? So we didn't really get a chance to warm up in the back because the fight before us, I think it was a knockout too, and went quick. And so they kind of rushed us out. So as soon as I started to really warm up, the commission walked in the back and they like, ooh, shut down on you.
Yeah, we good. We keep it running. We on this camera.
Yeah, so the commission come in the back and they like, Early, it's your time. Like, let's go. So I'm sitting there like, what? You know what I mean? I'm bugging out really. Like, okay, we gotta go out. So I actually planned on spending the first round warming up.
Yeah.
But so then I get out there and I know he's gonna spend the first round warming up. So I'm like, okay, cool, we good. So when the round started, he came up, he had his hands up real high, moving his head and stuff like that. I shot my jab, and when it hit his gloves, I saw it kind of move them back a little bit. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So he's gonna be looking for that automatically. So as soon as he started looking for the jab, I feinted the jab, came with the hook.
Boom.
When the hook landed, right, I hit him with the hook before I actually knocked him out. So when the hook landed the first time, I said, oh, he definitely going to be looking for that.
Yeah.
So then I went jab to the body, threw a couple of punches to the body. Then I wanted to let him come inside. And I didn't want to throw anything because I wanted to see what he was going to come with, see if he was going to try to come over the top, if he was going to try to go to the body, what he was going to do. Mm-hmm. So when he got inside, he threw a couple of punches, but he didn't really want to engage that much. So he threw 2 or 3 punches, and then we clinched up. Then from there, I was like, okay, soon as and what I know from experience is, soon as a exchange is over, like if the momentum is with one fighter, like the momentum was with me at first.
Right.
As soon as you go through an exchange and the momentum shifts, so i.e. him coming in, throwing the body shots, this and that, whether they were successful or not successful, a lot of times your mind is on that part. Like, okay, how can I get back in there again, or how can I get in a position where I can land where I want to land? So you're not really thinking about the counters that happened before, or you're not really thinking about, how was the setup before, what happened before. So I'm thinking like, all right, this is the time to feint that jab, come with the hook now.
Yeah.
Because he ain't thinking about that. His mind is either on getting back on the other side or getting back around.
So you really was playing chess with him.
For sure.
And that's incredible, because you like to think about it that deep, all those things going on in your mind
all at, the
at
same
once,
time.
and it was like the fight was over in like a minute and a half or something like that. I think.
Right.
But like the way you're thinking about it is you got all of these thoughts, you're processing all this information, and then boom.
Right, and then it happens.
And then it just happens, and I'm sure like